Hi everyone, my name is Kendall Coy, and today I'll be going over the information processing theory and in specific my memory retrieval lab. To start off, what is information processing? Information processing is how individuals perceive, analyze, manipulate, use, and remember information. For this lab, I will be measuring my subject's ability to retrieve a specific formula from their long-term memory. If the subject is not able to retrieve the memory, I will be mentoring them by using acoustic encoding. My participant will be asked to retrieve the quadratic formula from their long-term memory. After asking the participant, I will acoustically encode this formula into their brain so that they will have this quadratic formula in their brain for the rest of their lives. For the framework, the intervention relates to IPT because I will be asking my participant to first try to remember the quadratic formula. From there, the participant will either be able to pull the information from their long-term memory, or I will start by introducing the participant to a nursery rhyme that they most likely heard growing up. From there, the participant will be able to use acoustic encoding to remember and store the formula by the jingle of the rhyme. For my sample size, I just had one person. She was a 20-year-old female. The female is a full-time college student studying psychology at Florida State University. I selected this subject to be a representative of this lab because we were in the same class the year that both of us learned this formula, so I know that she knows it. For the intervention, I will ask my participant to take part in a pre-intervention quiz. The quiz will require the subject to retrieve a memory from their long-term memory. In this case, it's the quadratic formula. The participant will then write down the quadratic formula on a piece of blank notebook paper. The paper will be graded but not shown to the participant. Next, I will share a familiar nursery rhyme called Pop Goes the Weasel by Anthony Newley. The song will register in her acoustic memory, and I will be able to start correlating and encoding the music with the quadratic formula by singing the quadratic formula in the same tune to Pop Goes the Weasel. Approximately one day after the correlation, I will ask the subject to take part in a post-intervention quiz. This quiz will require the subject to retrieve a memory from their long-term memory and use acoustic encoding. The subject will then be graded and shown both their pre- and post-intervention results. For the data collection, I will ask them to take a pre-intervention quiz and a post-intervention quiz. Each quiz has 15 parts. It's only one question, but it has 15 parts. They will write down their answer on a blank piece of notebook paper, and they have 5 minutes to complete the quiz. Then the quiz will be handed over to me, where I will grade it, and they won't be shown their full results until they completed the post-intervention quiz. So here are just some parts to the quadratic formula. As you can see, it's only one question, but it has 15 different parts to the question. For my results, overall you can see that the subject increased on her memory retrieval. She first scored a 10 out of 15 on the pre-intervention quiz, and then a 15 out of 15 on the post-intervention quiz. My subject was able to effectively use acoustic encoding to increase her score on the post-intervention results. As provided from the information above, 1 is able to differentiate between pre- and post-intervention results. The data provided presents an elevation in results that can be correlated with acoustic encoding. And then here are just her pre-intervention test and her post-intervention test. This connects to the theory of IPT because my participant was given a pre-intervention test to see if she could remember the quadratic formula from that she learned years ago. This means my participant had to pull the formula out of her long-term memory. My participant was able to answer 10 out of 15 parts from the formula just on the pre-intervention test. I then asked her if she remembered a popular rhyme called Pop Goes the Weasel, and from there she was able to retrieve that memory from her long-term memory. After I showed her a video, I told my participant to say the quadratic formula to the tune of Pop Goes the Weasel to use acoustic encoding. She was then able to encode, correlate, and rehearse these two things together to put in her short-term memory. The next day, I asked the participant to take a test and write down the quadratic formula. She was able to score 15 out of 15 on her test. And this concludes my slideshow. Thank you very much.